Now I'm going to show you another few of the features, one of which is the Air Quality Index report that you can generate over any period of time for any of your pollutants. So we're starting from the splash screen, and we're going to go to Continuous or Metadata Fast Track, and we're going to look at reports and charts. And we're going to look at ozone data, in this case at Site 1, which is Instrument 6, and it populates based upon what you've put into the previous text boxes, and it populates to all the data within the year of 2008. We are just going to look at data from 1021 to about 1028. We're going to look at a week's worth of data. And let's just click this report hourly concentrations. And the useful thing about that is that it shows us on the last page important statistics like completeness, which, by the way, you can also use the toolbox to generate completeness reports for your QA data, which is always nice not to be surprised by that when you run your AQS reports. So let's look at the hourly concentration chart. And you can see it follows an expected pattern, but we've got the levels increasing here around the 26th. That's a little worrisome. So we're going to close print preview. The first thing we're going to do is let's just make sure that we have, because in this case we've been importing our metadata into the toolbox, let's make sure that before we say, oh, that's valid just because of the diurnal pattern, let's look at perhaps another parameter that should be correlated with ozone concentrations. So our MET station gathers solar radiation. So let's look at the chart of concentration versus solar radiation to see if the solar radiation patterns support the ozone concentration. And you can see it does. The solar radiation increases and the ozone just always very faithfully follows and increases slightly more on these days, but at least we do have solar radiation data to support these concentrations that are greater than 70 parts per billion. So we're going to close print preview. And now if you wanted to, you could save this as a PDF. And if you're worried that somebody will question these values greater than the pollutant concentration of 70, I would save this as a PDF and just save it electronically on a jump drive, both there and on your network. We're going to close the print preview now, and we're going to say, all right, that's a period of time where we need to look more carefully. So you can see that we've got three different sorts of reports here just about the pollutant itself. We've got daily averages, which is good for when you want 24-hour averages. We've got daily averages with metadata, which is useful because then, again, on the last page, which in this case we are just looking at a short period of time, you've got the average, the minimum, and the maximum, and the number of data points for all the parameters that you are monitoring with that pollutant. And that's another useful report. But what I'm really excited about is the Air Quality Index report, because the concentrations went over 70 parts per billion. So let's produce this report, and we will be patient. And you could see it produces a nice report following the EPA rubric for the good, moderate, and unhealthy for sensitive group labeling system. And the AQI value, the toolbox calculates the AQI value for the pollutant that you are interested in. So this is a really good new function of the toolbox. Another thing that is really, really useful are these completeness reports for QC and QA. That means your external audits, because it is always tough to be sidelined by your AQS reports that shows that you don't have enough completeness as you think you had. And in this way, you can check on that. And this, again, follows the same exact rubric that EPA has, because Angelique very carefully researched that and programmed the toolbox to do just exactly what AQS does.